pinning? Let me see. Why is it not pinning? Dark comment? No. Why is it not pinning? That's all I did last time to pin it. Ah, no. I've forgotten how to pin the comment. How do I pin the blinking comment? Oh, how did I pin it? Oh, no, it wasn't that way. Ah, there you go. Now it's pinned. Silly thing. Okay, so it took me a long time to finally work out how to pin the comment. But I finally got it pinned again. Still getting used to this StreamYard and YouTube thingy-mabobby. Very technical for somebody like me to work out because I just a ticko, so takes a long time for me to work out. But it looks like I'm on my own anyway, so I may as well just stop blabbering because nobody's here today. So I'll just wait until somebody comes into the room. Obviously admitted manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. He was sentenced to 26 years in jail. Diana has... 'Cause nobody's here today except for me. Nobody wants to talk to me. No Muzzy wants to talk to me. And yet I have lots to say about their Quran, especially the final two chapters that Muhammad had revealed to him. These are very most intriguing chapters, the final two that he had revealed to him. Surah 5 and Surah 9. So we begin with Surah 5. It starts with verse 5 telling Muslims they can eat whatever they want, including piggy pig pig. So there you go. 5-6. Now this is another interesting one. Basically, Muzzies have to purify themselves with water before they can pray to their Allah, Subhan Allah. And 5-6 says if there's no water for them to use to purify themselves, they can use mud, but they must use clean mud. So, Muzzies, just in case you ain't got no water, I've got loads of clean mud, right? 512. 512 is again, I mean, great. Give a loan to Allah. So Mr. Allah is so skint, he wants you to give him a loan. 515 says that it's a clear book to Christians. 518, something about lying. Don't say Mr. Allah, and he misguides. Uh, I don't know what I've written down for 519 in Arabic to the Arabs, not me. 520. No, Moses did not say Mr. Allah. 521, Jews, Israel. 501, don't ask no questions. 526 is rubbish, apparently. And 527 is also rubbish, apparently. Contradiction, 528. I mean, basically, the whole book is rubbo, and it garbo, really. You know, I mean, the whole of Surah 5 as well is basically all about Jews and Christians. If it's not talking about the Jews and Christians book and that the book they have is good and there's nothing wrong with it, it's saying to unalive them all, you know. And it's all about Jews and Christians. 543 up until about 566, 568 is all about the Bible, how good it is, how beautiful it is, and Jews and Christians should follow it. But then you get, as I say, mixed in amongst that, like 551, hate them, despise them. 554, hate them. 560, hate and war. 567, lie, war, and hate. You know, I mean, it jumps from sort of how wonderful Jews and Christians are and how wonderful their book is to hate them, unalive them. And that's Surah 5. Basically, uh, you know, it's all over the shop. You can't make head nor tail of it. None of it makes any sense. 569 says that Jews, Christians, and Sabians, who are star worshippers, will go to heaven, you know. And then we come to Surah 9. And Surah 9 basically starts out with unalive, unalive, you know, murder them all, kill them all. That's Surahs 9, 1 to 5, Surahs 9, 12 and 15, Surahs 9, 19 and 20, Surah 9, 23, Surah 9, 25, 26 and 29. All of those is all kill, kill, kill. Kill them all. Kill all the Jews and Christians. Which, as I say, is a bit of a, you know, a surprise. how that starts. It sort of continues very much with the same theme. Verses 35 and 36, 41, 44, 52, 55, and 63 is all pretty much kill, 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 unalive, unalive, unalive. It then takes a slight break from kill and unalive them all, but it's still basically Garbo, Rubbo. Um, Short of 980 is where Mr. Allah says he ain't going to forgive me even if Momo prays for me 70 times. Short of 101, he's not only not going to forgive me, but he's going to punish me with a terrible punishment twice. Then he's going to bring me back and then punish me again with a terrible punishment. But then 2 verses later, in 103 and 104, he says, if I give Momo money, he will forgive me. Not only Allah, but also Momo. Momo can forgive me, and so can Allah forgive me of my sins. Bit strange, really, because I thought only God could forgive sins. But there you go. And that's in 103. Then in 104, he says that if Momo then gives Allah some of that money that I gave Momo, he will then also forgive me as well. Thank you, sir, Mr. Allah, for forgiving me if I pay you. Guess what? Ain't going to happen. And then again, towards the end of the Shura, 111, 116, 120, 121, 122, and 123, we return back to unalive, kill them, murder them all. What a lovely book the Quran is. You've got to admit it's a lovely book. It really is. But yes, I mean, I've been here now 12 minutes nearly, and no one coming to talk or chatty with me, the Imam Sheikh Mufti Caliph of Bognor. We're Bognor, Pogna, you know, couldn't even spell it. Okay. One person's jumped into the room. Don't know how long they'll last. Don't even know if it's a Muslim or not, or if it's a Cristiano or not, or if it's an atheist or not. No idea. But I'd like to discuss why the Quran is the worst book in history. If you know somebody who could discuss that topic with me, perhaps you can invite them along so they can discuss it with me. Why is the Quran the worst book ever written by anybody? Whether it be a god, a man, or a child, or a baby, it's by far the worst book ever written. And yet, that's supposed to be the only proof that Muhammad was a prophet, because it's supposed to be the best book ever written. Unfortunately, it's not. It's definitely the worst book that was ever written. As I say, you know, the last 2 chapters are absolutely diabolical. I mean, the chapters before the last 2 aren't much better, but the last 2 are beyond diabolical. Verse 5 of Surah 5, which is Surah 5 and Surah 9, are the last 2 chapters, because I don't class 110, which is the last chapter, because that's only 3 verses and it doesn't say anything, only a load of rubbish. So the last 2 full chapters are 5 and 9. Surah 5, Surah 9, hello, Jesus is the truth. And Surah 5 begins with telling Muslims that they can eat pork in Surah 5, Ayah 5. So when they tell you next time, you know, about eating pork and stuff like that, just tell them straight off. Well, you're allowed to eat pork as well, according to the Quran, Surah 5, Ayah 5. Then in the next verse, Surah 5, Ayah 6, they're supposed to do this funny washing thing before they pray. before they go to the mosque and stuff like that. Wash their arms 3 times, wash their hands 3 times, wash their feet 3 times, all that garbo. But Surah 5 ayah 6 says, if they ain't got no water to purify themselves before their prayer, they're supposed to use clean dirt. Clean dirt. That's correct. You heard that correctly. According to Surah 5 ayah 6, if they haven't got water, they can use clean dirt. And presumably if they're in the UK where it rains all the time, that is not going to be clean dirt. It's going to be clean mud. Then verse 12 says that they must give a loan to Allah because Allah's so poor, he needs them to give him a loan, you know. I mean, seriously, it gets worse and worse and worse as you continue to read Surah 5. Surah 5, ayah 38 is where they get the law's punishment for stealing in Sharia, which is basically chopping off your hands and your feet from opposite sides of the body. So if they chop off the right hand, they chop off the left foot. And of course, this is the same punishment no matter who you are, no matter what you've stolen, and no matter the reason you've stolen it. So if you're a starving, hungry person and you just go along and steal an egg, then yeah, it's TikTok got banned. Jesus is the truth. The Muzzies got banned in TikTok because I kept saying Muzzy instead of Muslim, and I kept saying Allah, Subpan Allah, and Mr. Allah, Subpan Allah. And so they complained to TikTok because of that, said it was hate speech and hate behaviour, and TikTok agreed with them that that was hate speech and hate behaviour. So there you go. Just another madness from the madness that is Islam. You're not allowed to say anything against their false God or their false prophet or their false book. Otherwise, they cry like babies. Even though, you know, they're supposed to be toughy. Oh, yeah, I'll be back on there again, Jesus is Truth, next week. I'll be back on there again next week when the band finishes next Saturday at around 8 o'clock, roughly. So yeah, 538 of the Quran is where they get the punishment for Sharia. And then it sort of starts talking all about the Bible from 543 to 568, how good the Bible is, and Christians must follow and obey the Bible. 569 says all the Jews and the Christians and the Sabians, star worshippers, will all go to paradise. So pagans, Jews and Christians as well, according to the Quran 569, will all go to paradise. Remember, these are some of the last verses to be revealed as well. 590 and 591 of the Quran is where Allah finally banned alcohol for the first time and the last time. So right at the very end of Muhammad's revelations, virtually at the time that he virtually died, is when Allah banned alcohol. Before that, they were drinking like fishes. They were completely legless. They were going in the mosque completely legless. They were praying completely legless all the way through for 20 odd years. And as I say, finally, towards the end of Surah 5, you know, that's when he finally banned it. And then the rest of Surah 5 is all about hate, unaliving all the Jews and Christians and unaliving everybody else, basically. And then we come to Surah 9, the last chapter. I call it the last one because, as I say, I don't include 110, which is just 3 verses. And Surah 9 begins virtually the way that, you know, Surah 5 ended with unaliving everybody, by unaliving everybody. So verses 1 to 5, unalive everybody. 12 and 15, unalive everybody. Verses 19 and 20, unalive everybody. Verse 23, unalive everybody. Verse 25, 26 and 29, unalive everybody. Verses 35 and 36, unalive everybody. Verse 41, unalive everybody. Verse 44, unalive everybody. Verse 52, unalive everybody. Verse 55, unalive everybody. And verse 63, unalive everybody. So the beginning of Surah 9, the last and final chapter of Mr. Allah, is all about unalive everybody who's not a Muslim. Unalive them all. Kill them all. Get rid of all of them. He then goes into quite a lot of rubbish and garbo, as he normally does. And then, as I say, then I've got my two topics so far, which is Surah 9, Ayah 80. Allah will never ever forgive people who don't believe in him, such as myself, even if Muhammad prays for them 70 times. Then 101, he won't not only forgive me, he will punish me a terrible punishment twice. And then when I'm unalive through that terrible punishment, he will bring me back to life to punish me a terrible punishment again. That's 101. But then we go to 103 and 104 of Surah 9, and he says, as long as I pay Muhammad money, and as long as I pay him money, he'll forgive me. Wow, what a loving, merciful God Mr. Allah really is. If I pay him, he will actually forgive me. Wow, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Allah. I'm just getting my wallet out now, honestly. And then the surah ends the same way it started, unalive and kill everybody. 111, 116, 120, 121, 122, and 123. And there's only 127 verses. So it starts with unalive and kill everybody, and it finishes with unalive and kill everybody. What a peaceful religion Islam really is. The final message that Muhammad got from Allah was unalive and kill everybody. Lovely. Unless they pay you, of course. If they pay Muhammad, then he doesn't have to unalive or kill you. Yeah, I will do, Jesus is truth. I will do this week anyway, because I haven't really got anything much better to do. I'm on holiday at the moment, off work, so I'm getting very bored with not much to do, and so this is my only form of entertainment at the moment. And so I will be here every week. I was obviously planning to go live every week on TikTok, but unfortunately, yeah, the muzzies took care of that by complaining, and unfortunately TikTok listened to them. But there you go. So yeah, but yes, I mean, muzzies, what is wrong with your Quran? I was under the impression that it was a peaceful religion. But yet, when I read the last chapter, over 30 verses of that last chapter, bearing in mind there's only 120 there anyway, so 30 is nearly a quarter of the chapter, is all full of kill, unalive, murder, destroy them all, kill them all, unalive them all. Where's the peace and the love, muzzies? When that's the final chapter that was revealed in your book. You know, the verse begins with kill and unalive everybody, and the verse ends with kill and unalive everybody. And there's not really much in the middle to, say any different from that. Unlike Surah 5, where at least we get a slight respite from killing and unaliving everybody with a lot of rubbish and how good and wonderful the Bible really is, and that Jews and Christians should follow and obey that Bible. Um, you know, we at least have that on top of the hate, and unalive them, because there's only about 10 verses in that Surah 5 that say that, unalive and hate them. But when we come to the final chapter, chapter 9, Surah 9, it's over a quarter of it is unalive them, kill them, hate them. Why? Why Muslims from such a lovely, wonderful book, such as the Quran that's supposed to be so peaceful. Um, 5 guests at the moment viewing, and I haven't got any requests from a Muzzy to come up. I can't see any Muzzies in the chat, so I can only assume that there is no Muzzies here. They've all run away. Um, I don't know. Maybe they've all run away to the Mecca, the Kaaba, to ask Allah to protect them, which of course he won't do. Okay. Yeah, and 589 as well. That was another one I chose because 589 of the Quran is different in depending on what Quran you're reading. That's another one of the verses where there's a difference in the words and the meaning depending on what Quran you're using. So if you're using the Hafs Quran, then it's about feeding poor people, basically. If you miss your prayers or you miss something, I can't remember what it is that you missed, then the punishment is you have to go out and feed poor people. And if in the Hafs Quran, it states that, you have to feed more than one poor person. But then when you read a different Quran, it states you only have to feed one poor person. So which one is it, Muzzies? Was it just feed one poor person, or do you have to feed several poor people? Because depending on what Quran you read, it will tell you different. One Quran will tell you to feed one poor person, and another Quran will tell you to feed several poor people. Which one is it, Muslims? Because Mr. Allah doesn't seem to know. Mr. Allah Subhan Allah. What should you do if you're struggling constantly violated for no reason, not even for the Bible? Well, I mean, this is what's going to happen to me. I mean, Lord Jesus Christ did say it. And even, I mean, you don't need to. That's it. You don't need to be even Christian and believe in the Bible to be persecuted by the Muslims. I've seen them persecute atheists who, speak out against Islam and the Quran and the book and the Sharia, because these people know what it's really like. These people have lived with it. These people have grown up with it, and they've seen what it's really like, and they hate it. And now they don't, they live in Western countries, so they've got the freedom not to be a Muslim, and they're not a Muslim, but they still speak out about it. Apostate prophet, for instance, is one such person. He's not a Christian. He's not a Bible follower. He doesn't actually believe in a God at the moment in any shape or form, but yet he still constantly speaks out about Islam and Muslims and Sharia, because, as I say, he grew up with it, he lived with it, and he knows what it's like. He knows the nastiness of it. He knows the evilness of it, and they persecute him. They persecute him, and they try to get him banned, and they try to keep him quiet. And this is exactly what they do with everybody. Everybody, it doesn't matter who, even God Logic, one of the nicest Christians I know, who wouldn't fly, obviously, and many others I know like him. Again, they've tried to shut them up, get them shut down on social media, and try to do everything they can to keep them quiet, because this is the cult that it is. They're so scared of being exposed. They're so scared of everybody knowing the truth about this false, disgusting cult, which should be banned worldwide. And they don't want that exposed, obviously, for obvious reasons, because well, yeah, he would do, Jesus. Yes, that's right. Because that's in the Quran. Jesus is the truth. That's in the Quran. That's actually in the Quran. It's the verse that Joe Biden used at his speech one time before he got elected last time. Yes, that's true. It's this one where it goes, um, try to stop them. Let's think of what it says now. If you see um, if you see corruption or something like that. Try to stop them with your heart. If you can't stop them with your heart, stop them with your mouth. If you can't stop their mouth, then stop them with your hand. Something along those lines is how the verse goes. And they claim it's supposed to be a peaceful verse. But when you look into it in the Tafsirs and the Hadiths, it's not at all. What it's basically saying is, if you meet someone, try to stop them, first of all, nicely, politely, by asking them. If they don't, then get more aggressive with them and try to stop them more aggressively with your mouth. And if they still don't stop, then use violence against them to make them stop. So yes, a Muslim's well within his rights, if he wants to come up to you, wherever you may be, if you're speaking out against Islam or Muhammad or the Quran or Allah, and they're quite within their rights to use physical force to stop you from discussing those topics. That's what the Quran teaches them. They are well allowed to do those sorts of things. And if that means unaliving you on the spot, they're allowed to unalive you on the spot. This is, as I say, these are all the things the world needs to know and learn about this religion, because this is why it shouldn't be allowed in today's society, in any world. It shouldn't be allowed because it's violent, it's subjective, it's racist, it's homophobic, I mean, where do you end with the problems of the Quran and Islam? You cannot stop. There are so many problems, against it. Unless you're a Muslim, unless you're someone, as I say, and even then you're still not safe. Because obviously, if you're a Shia Muslim and you're living in a Sunni Islamic country, they will unalive you. So you need to be the particular sect of Muslims that live in your country as well. That's what makes it even worse. You can't just be any Muslim. When you're in a country like the UK, which is not actually full Islamic yet, yeah, you can be any type of Muslim. But once it becomes an Islamic state, you need to be that type of Muslim that is that country, that Islamic state is. Otherwise, again, you can't be. They'll beat you up. They'll unalive you. And they do it even worse than what they do with non-Muslims. Muslims against Muslims are even more violent and more disgusting than Muslims against non-Muslims. And that's pretty bad. No, I haven't been persecuted yet outside Jesus' truth, but it won't be much longer. I mean, luckily I'm in the UK, which is still relatively, they're still relatively peaceful because they're not the majority yet still. But in another 4-5 years, possibly 6, the way it's going, because they're letting so many of them in, the silly government, they could be the majority then, and it could be worse then. So, yeah. All right. Well, you'll know then Jesus is the truth. Maybe another 5 or 6 years, and I think we're going to start getting to the point where we're going to start getting persecuted openly in the streets by gangs of marauding Muslims. I don't think it'll be much longer. I didn't find him. Jesus is the truth. He found me. That's the point with Christianity. You don't find God. God finds you. And it's true. It's true. He finds you and he brings you to him. And of course, you've got to want that once he's done that. That's the point. I resisted it for many, many years. Many years I resisted it because I didn't believe it. I thought it cannot be true. But yeah, eventually managed to find my way to him and haven't looked back since. It's yeah, it's been it's been a good life since I've been with the Lord Jesus Christ, put it that way. It's only been 4 years, 5 years now. This is the 5th year. But all 5 years have been, good, pleasant, wonderful. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they do. Lots of them do. Lots of them think you're that sort of way because you believe. But no, I didn't. Jesus is the truth. I didn't at all because I say I didn't believe it. Um, Yeah, no, I didn't grow up like that at all. Didn't even really know Christianity, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, I knew it from obviously churches were around, and obviously I heard it, but it wasn't something that was prevalent within my life growing up. Certainly not. No, no. In fact, the first time I went into the church was to raid the collection box so I could bust open the collection box and steal the money from the collection box, which obviously at the time I didn't realise what a bad thing that was to do, but now obviously I realise how bad that was to do. Because when I grew up out in the country, I did obviously was in London to begin with, but we moved out of London when I was about 9 years old because they were bringing in all the immigrants from the Caribbean islands at that time. Windrush was in full flow at that time, and so they were um, clearing out as many people from London as they possibly could, so that it could make room for as many Windrush people as possible. Um, and so I moved out of London when I was still very little, 9 years old, and I couldn't believe, when I got to the countryside, how much different that was from obviously living in London and growing up in London. Um, for instance, the little village that we moved to, it doesn't now because it's got bigger. But when I moved there, it was still only a small village. The police station closed at midnight. Um, and I thought that was a big joke, when I heard that the police station closed at midnight and then reopened again in the morning. I was like, wow, this is going to be my sort of town to grow up in with no policemen around at night time. And yeah, churches were left open, obviously. So I found myself inside this church and see the collection box and managed to get it open, but there wasn't that much in there. There was only a few pennies in the bottom, but I still took them anyway. Yes, yeah, it was an eye opener coming from London and living in the countryside, definitely. But yes, no, I didn't grow up as a Christian at all. I grew up as a very bad boy with no rules, no morals, and no one to even look to as guidance for morals or rules. Um, Basically, I lived by my own morals and rules, and those were non existent. They didn't exist. Even my mum, as I've said over and over, only had one rule, which was don't bring the police to the doorstep. But I didn't even have that rule. My rules were none. There are no rules. That was my rule. My rule was do what you want, when you want, how you want. Just survive, basically. That was my only rule. And I pretty much did. I pretty much did. And yeah, I mean, in London, it was fun. In London, I had a lot of fun, but when I moved to the countryside where it was very boring and not very much to do, it started to get less fun. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it was very boring and much less fun. Oh well, it looks like the Muzzies are not going to come today either. I don't know why they flocked to TikTok. For some reason, the Muzzies on TikTok, they love TikTok for some reason, and I don't know why. Um, yeah, when it comes to sort of these, I think maybe because it is the fact that they can get you banned so easy. I think that's why they like it. And then when you come to channels like this and things where it's a lot harder for them to get it banned, because I think uh, the easiest way is things like copyright and stuff like that. So if you start playing other people's videos or you start playing songs or music or stuff like that, then YouTube will close it down. But if you don't do that, pretty much, I think most other things on YouTube is allowed. And so I think that's why the Muslims tend to stay away from it, which is understandable. And I'm having terrible troubles at the moment with my Facebook, um, because Facebook are totally at the moment banning everything. I just post something and they ban it straight away. I post a comment and they ban it straight away. And it seems everything at the moment that I'm doing on Facebook, they ban it straight away. Um, as I say, I think, when it comes to things like that, where muzzies can get them to shut it down quickly, then yeah, not really. Jesus is the truth. Only through these sorts of things. Yeah, only through these sorts of things. To say I'm on here most nights. I'll be on here most nights this week on this, my YouTube channel, and this StreamYard link to my YouTube channel. But then obviously when the TikTok ban finishes Saturday evening, I'll be back on TikTok. And of course, I now know, exactly, what not to do to stop it getting banned. Because at first, they were banning it because when they came on and and said that I would get angry with them and say nasty things, and then I realised that was so I stopped doing that. And now, as I say, the only thing that I said that got it banned was Muzzies and Mr. Allah, Subpan Allah. So as long as I stop doing that and I call them Muslims and I call Allah Allah, then there should be no reason for TikTok to ban it, even if they complain. And that's what I'm going to do now in future with TikTok. I'm going to stay well within the rules. I'm not going to use any terms that they find derogatory or they even complain that TikTok will be derogatory. So I will say Muslims in future and I will say Allah in future all the time. And then, as I say, hopefully there will be no reason for TikTok to ban me, and I'll be able to stay on TikTok then forever. And that will upset them. I know it will, because as I say, that they don't want, they don't want people like me with the knowledge that I've got. And the way that I will, basically interact with them, so I won't let them dance around and slip away and get away with anything. They'll hate that. They really will hate that. So that's going to be my plan going forward. Is to try to stay on TikTok and not get the ban. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Because obviously, as I say, then they're going to still try and come on, cuss, and obviously, do horrible things to try to still get it banned. Um, and it's basically then my only job is obviously trying to get them removed as quickly as possible, and hope that TikTok don't ban it for their actions. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's it. Jesus is true. TikTok, the V fault at the moment. I mean, I will have other channels after that if they ban that one. But as I say, I'm hoping, my hope is to get that channel going and not get it banned. It must be possible. There must be a way that, to be possible to do that. So we'll give that a go and see how it works out. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know because, as I say, I know there are other people, such as God Logic and other people like that, who are nice people, and I know they don't, break any of the rule, but yet they still get banned. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it would be nice if I could get this one up and going as well. I just don't know how to promote this out to more people. I don't know. I mean, I didn't know how to promote it on TikTok, but for some reason, TikTok seems to grow on its own. You don't really need to do anything on TikTok, and yet still you have hundreds and hundreds of people for some reason, and I don't know how or why that quite works. Whereas YouTube, linked with StreamYard, doesn't seem to sort of work in quite the same way. I don't know. I don't know why or how, what I'm supposed to do to get that going. Because obviously I know there are some people out there that have done that. Um, David Wood, he seems to be very successful at growing YouTube channels. Apostate Prophet, um, even God Logic got his, thousands and thousands and thousands within a short space of time. But how they do it, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. How did they do it? I don't know. I mean, I suppose it helps when you're American and you live in a country like America, where there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people, who probably spend a lot more time on these sorts of apps than people in the UK and places like that do. So maybe that's an answer. I don't know. Move to America and become a Yank. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Let's say. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see anyway. By God's grace. By God's grace, it will either happen or it won't happen. So yeah, we'll see going forward. There you go. But it's still like no Muslim is coming to chat to me about their Quran. I'm so unhappy that Muslims don't want to chat to me about their Quran. What a shame. What a shame. I think I'll give it a quick ending there, and I think I'll try restart it again later on this evening, see if that works. Because I know in places like the States now, they're about 5 hours behind. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So it's only about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the States. And so maybe they're all still very busy over there working and stuff. So what I'll do is I think I'll end it now and then restart it again a bit later on when it's early evening in the States. And then maybe I might get a few more viewers. So yeah, I think I'll try that because I still haven't got any guests up. There's only 3 in the room. So God bless everybody. Peace of Christ to everybody. I'll see you all later this evening. God bless.